What's up, guys? So, I know we're live. You've probably just been looking at my ugly mug for a minute. Let me know, first off, how the audio is, because I haven't really tested it on a PC. I've tested it on mobile, and it sounded pretty good, but I haven't tested it on a PC. So let me know, if you're in the chat right quick, if the audio is decent, and then we will proceed with the stream. It is awesome. All right, that is great. Well, it looks like there's a couple of us in here. I'm going to give it another minute to have a couple more viewers before we actually get into what we're going to be talking about tonight. It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera. These live streams always freak me out. I'm not a natural in front of camera person, so I'm okay behind the camera, but in front is kind of weird for me. But I do enjoy doing it. I really liked the first stream we did, and I'm excited about doing this stream tonight. It's not going to be as structured as the last stream was. I don't have a list of questions I'm going to be answering. I don't really have any major topics I want to hit, except for I just kind of want to talk about what's been going on in my personal life and how that's affected my community engagement over the past like 6 months. And then I have a couple packages that we'll unbox, and if anyone in the chat wants to just discuss stuff for a little while, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. So I guess we'll go ahead and start. Is the stream quality okay before I actually get into it? I want to make sure everything's all right with this. You said the audio is good. I don't know about the video. Okay, it's all good. Well, I guess that's good. We'll go ahead and start. So, where have I been at? I know that I haven't really been around as much as I was. I haven't really been commenting on that many people's videos. I haven't even been answering comments on my own videos as much. I'm not as engaged with the community as I have been in the past. And that's because I've been having a difficult string in my personal life. Now, a lot of people have gone through a lot worse over the past year, especially, with the pandemic and everything. People have lost loved ones. Luckily, nothing like that. My life's been pretty good generally, but me and my longtime girlfriend, Maggie, did split up last year in November. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life. And to be completely honest, I'm still not over it. And I went into this deep depression afterwards that caused me to pretty much lose interest in anything that I had interest in before. And I've always been the kind of person to have a lot of hobbies. And YouTube was just one of those hobbies. Of course, watching people's videos and commenting on the videos, that was part of it, but even making my own videos. I haven't filmed an actual review video in like 6 months. There's a couple reasons for that. Just my mental state is one of them. I just haven't felt like being behind the camera and talking to people for a while now. But even before that, I transitioned over to a keto lifestyle with intermittent fasting. And that made doing ration reviews quite a bit more difficult. I could only fit them in when I had cheat days, and it became easier to just not do ration videos for a while. Now, luckily, I had a really big backlog of videos. Like I said, I haven't done one in like 6 months, so I had like 6 months of video banked that that was just waiting to be uploaded. At this point, I'm out of all that banked video. So anything that comes out now is going to be on a week-to-week basis. That's why my upload schedule kind of stretched out. I used to do a ration video every 10 days. I've been doing one every 14 days the past couple months. And that gave me a little bit more leeway to give me more time to feel like I can do videos again, which at this point I do. I'm actually looking forward to doing ration reviews again. I would be doing a live review tonight, but it is unfortunately not my cheat day, and I am still keto. Also, it's past my time on my intermittent fasting, so I wouldn't be able to eat this late anyway. But we will do a live ration review at some point in the future. That is something that I want to do for sure. So between my mental state and my change in lifestyle with my diet, YouTube kind of got pushed to the back burner. But luckily I put in the work beforehand that I was able to kind of just leech off of until this point. So we're at a point now where I really have to get back into it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have time to be as active in the community as I was before for a while longer, but I do want to get back into, being there when people upload new videos and taking the time to watch it all the way through like I do. I'm not one of those people that watch just a minute and then leave a comment and bounce. Like, when I watch someone's video, I'll watch their video, and that's why I pretty much had to stop altogether, because I just didn't have it in me to do it anymore for quite a while. Even creators that I love their content, which there's going to be quite a few of those guys in the chat tonight, awesome channels. And actually, if you want to see some other review channels that are very similar to mine, both firearms and ration related content, you can check the links out I have down in the description. I've linked several channels there. They're some of my favorites. Give those a look. Looks like we have about 14 live now, so that's fairly decent, I suppose. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things I wanted to get off my chest, is just, let people know that I haven't been going through the best time. I mean, things are definitely getting better, and I'm feeling better overall, but I'm still not there 100%. Losing a huge portion, excuse me, losing a huge part of my life like that very suddenly really did a lot of damage, but I've been working on rebuilding, and the future's looking bright at this point. So in the chat, we have Zeno and Marilyn. Looks like JW's in there. Hello, JW. I'm actually going to be opening the package you sent me on the stream tonight, time permitting. Throughout this stream, if anyone has any questions for me, just throw them in the chat and I'll try to catch them. If I do miss them, just keep repeating until I see it. I do want to do some Q&A at some point, but I guess we'll go ahead and open a couple of these packages. Yes, sir, JW. I do have that package. Jesse Michael, how's it going, man? I guess we'll go ahead and get into the unboxings I'm doing here. This first one is from JW Speaker. His channel is again linked in the description. He's a fellow ration reviewer and has a really good channel, and he's a great guy, a good friend. And he sent me this package. I've been sitting on it for quite a while. And since I wasn't doing videos, I really couldn't get around to opening it. When someone sends me a package I like to either integrate it into a review or doing it in a video like this, I want the community to see that someone sends me something. I at least want to give people credit when they send me something. So we will go ahead and open this up. I'm opening it from the bottom. My knife tonight is a Spyderco Paramilitary, but I could have used one of these bayonets over here to my left. So we're probably opening this in some kind of reverse order, but we'll see what we have. So the first thing is a handbook This is a National Rifle Association handbook. Pistol marksmanship. And this is most definitely vintage. I would have to pull it out of the wrapper here to find the date on this. If I had to guess, this looks 50s, but that is a wild guess. My hands aren't the cleanest right now, so I'm not going to pull it out because I don't want to mess it up. But JW Speaker, that is awesome, man. I love any kind of little old school memorabilia like this. Of course, it makes for a good display. I'll probably end up squeezing it over here somewhere. But that's really cool. Back in the day, they did teach people to shoot pistols one-handed like that with your arm extended. That was the doctrine for quite a while. We've only fairly recently started shooting with two-hand grips. Oh, wow. This is a rifle case. OD green. It's stamped US. Now, JW, I'm not quite sure what rifle this is to. It's 1944. This is definitely not an M1 carbine case. It's not long enough, but it looks a little thin up toward the top to be an M1 Garand, but it very well may be a Garand. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments right here in a second. But that is freaking awesome, dude. I do not have any vintage, I guess this would be web gear. Not really, it's not on your person, but like that. I don't have any vintage carrying cases, nothing like that. Those are things that I've seen over the years at gun shows, but I've missed the boat on them many times, just not picked them up. And now they're so expensive that I can't justify buying them, but I do love stuff like this. It's very cool that it still has a little leather piece on the zipper here. Being from 1944, that's pretty impressive. So it's both M1 Garand and M1A1 carbine? Okay. I think you could probably fit a 1903 Springfield in here too if you really wanted to. It's a very long case. That's awesome, man. Thanks so much. And now we're getting into some snacks, it looks like. Some dried lentil seeds. Very cool. Never had those before. We got a beef and ostrich stick. Oddly enough, I had ostrich for the first time several weeks ago. I ordered a couple steaks from a website called Blackwing Meats. And they do like wild game and farm-raised exotic meats like from around the world. And they had ostrich, and I couldn't help myself but buy some of those, and it was freaking delicious. I pan-seared it like you would a beef steak, basted it with a little bit of butter. Oh, it was to die for. Ostrich meat is fantastic, and so I'm sure this meat stick here is going to be very good. A little lemonade drink. A coffee crisp. The first one of these that I ever had was given to me by CT, and these are a treat for sure. I think they're only found in Canada. Raspberry drink. A Flemish ration heater. That one may be Lithuanian by the looks of it, but I'm not quite sure. Now, I've never had one of these. It's a dessert one too, a Backpacker's Pantry dessert meal. Looks like this package is 600 calories, so that's a big portion size. Dark chocolate cheesecake. That sounds freaking delicious. I guess I'll have to have that on one of my cheat days. It looks like there's some Lithuanian extras in here, so that FRH probably is Lithuanian. Looks like their stove is in here, along with a drink and some fuel tabs and a spoon. Conveniently in a little Ziploc bag. Mexican style hot chocolate. Some Lucky Charms marshmallows and a pack of Swiss Miss hot chocolate. Some Reed's root beer candies. Dude, JW, you sent me way too much stuff, man. This is so much. It's going to take me a year to get through this. Another Swiss Miss and Lucky Charms. I might have to re-gift some of this and send it to some other people for them to try. All right, well, it looks like we have a couple vintage ration items here. Let's see what these are. Ooh, this is an awesome looking package too. I bet this is in perfect shape. It's a cookie bar, chocolate covered. These are freaking delicious. One of the best ration dessert items ever, in an MRE at least. No date stamps or anything on this, but judging by the color of the package, this is going to be from a brown bag MRE. And there's a 1.5 ounce pack of peanut butter in there as well. Also from an old school MRE. Some more Lithuanian treats, hazelnuts, and some sugar. And it looks like a drink mix. Some Beeman's chewing gum. Never even heard of this brand. That's odd. But cool, I like that white wrapper. It's very vintage looking. Some Tic Tacs. Those look like they're from a Canadian ration. Jimmy Dodgers. These are a jam-filled shortbread cookie. These can be found in Australian rations. So that'd be really cool to try out. There's enough of those to share. This is a very odd can. Is it like it's a canned chicken pot pie? Just chicken. Yeah, this is a pie. It's a chicken pie, and the topping on that looks like some kind of puffy phyllo dough. It says it has a 25-minute cook time. That is a very interesting item. I've never seen something like that in a can before. I wonder how that dough holds up after being canned. I don't know. I guess we'll find out on that one. He sent me a classic JW speaker can opener. Now, this is very cool because, of course, his namesake is JW speaker, which is a callback to these awesome can openers. And I actually don't have an original can opener for my collection. And so this will definitely be making it to my display over here. I will not be taking it out of the wrapper. And thanks very much, JW speaker. That means a lot to me. I've had a hard time finding one recently. A Chicken and Dumplings Mountain House. I love me some Mountain House. And an O-Mills S'mores Cookies. 500 calories for the pack. Delicious sweets, chocolate, and marshmallow cookies. And another pack of gum and another drink mix. And that's it. Well, JW, you really went above and beyond hooking me up. I really appreciate that, buddy. You sent me some awesome stuff to try as far as snacks and stuff goes. And the actual vintage stuff that you sent me really means a ton. This manual is freaking awesome. Can't wait to put that on display. Looks like we have 18 watching now. I hope I'm not being too boring. I do have one more package to open, but before I get to that one, does anyone have any questions for me? And we'll do a little bit of Q&A for just a minute. Wow, you got that case for 15 bucks. That was awesome. I've seen those go for substantially more than that on eBay. Of course, now that it's in my possession, it's not going anywhere. Again, that last package was sent to me by JW Speaker. He's a good friend and a fellow ration reviewer. So if you like my videos, good chance you'll like his videos too. We're into the same kind of stuff. And again, he is linked down in the description of this video if you want to check him out. Hello, Mr. Tracy Phillips. How are you doing? Glad you can make it. Yeah, I doubt I'll actually use the case for holding my rifle, just to preserve preserve it and the rifle better. But if I ever want to like take some glamour shots or cool pictures or something, that case is definitely going to make it in there. Odds are I will display it by itself. I might pack it with some paper of some sort to give it, you know, some three-dimensional space, and put it on some kind of display, because I think that would be probably the best way to put it out there. I do have one more package here. This is from a MRE community member, Chris Reedy. Chris sent me this around the same time that JW Speaker sent me that other package, so I've been sitting on it for a while. Same deal, I wanted to open it on camera to give him some credit. Now, he doesn't have a review channel or anything. He's just a community member. He likes watching people's videos, and he's been a viewer of my channel for quite a while. And he sent me this awesome package, so I figured we'll open it up and give him some props on it. He couldn't make the live stream tonight. He told me that ahead of time. But he said he'll be watching tomorrow. So, what's up, Chris? Thanks for sending this to me, dude. And let's see what you actually sent me. Ooh, now this one looks like it's packed with some rations in it. First thing in here is a brown bagger. Of course, it's a US MRE. It's a menu number 2 corned beef hash. I did a review on this on my channel back last year, and this is one of the all-time best menus, in the brown bags at least. The package on this is in outstanding shape. It's nice and shiny. That's always a good sign for what those internal conditions are like. It has the big numbering on it, so we know that it's between 1987 and 1995. You did see some brown bags up until that point. If I had to guess, it's probably about a 92 or so, but who knows? Corned beef hash is a great menu, though, so thanks so much on that one, Chris. He sent me a Bridgeford pepperoni pizza with cheese and sauce. I can add that to my pizza collection. I actually kind of like the MRE pizza. It gets a lot of hate, but it's not that bad. And if you want a nice little snack item, I mean, these 3.1 ounce slices are pretty great for that. A Bridgeford Italian sausage with sauce sandwich. I've never had that particular one, but I do really like the Bridgeford sandwiches for the most part. I mean, you think about what they are. Of course, it's not as good as getting some like awesome Italian sub or something, but for something that's shelf stable for years and years and years, I mean, the stuff's pretty good. We got another ration in here. It's a tan bag MRE, boneless pork chop. Now, this is one I've actually never had. I've always wanted to try the pork chop MRE, but I haven't run up on one myself. And so I'll definitely be doing a video review on this. Cool little side note, this is also menu number 2, just like the other one, but of course it is a different menu. The boneless pork chop is pretty good from what I've heard from other people, but I've never had it myself, so we'll be doing a video on that. We have a Mountain House freeze-dried seafood chowder. This is going to be from a Mill Cold Weather. I have the full-size version of this ration ready to go. Since I have that, I might do a dual review with one of my friends, since I have 2 mains and we'll cook up 2 at one time. Or I might just take this out camping with me. These meals are great for on-the-go meals. We have a couple more items here. Another pizza slice. And a sweet and sour chicken Bridgeford sandwich. Chris, you really outdid yourself as well. I didn't do anything to deserve you sending me these awesome things, but I truly appreciate it, and it will all either make its way on video or into my stomach or into the stomach of my friends at some point in the future. He also put a letter in there, but I'm going to reserve reading that off camera because I don't know what the contents of the letter are. Thanks again, Chris. I really appreciate it, buddy. And let's get right on with the rest of the stream. How long have we been going now? Right at half an hour, so we're not doing too bad. Is Cheese Toast in the chat? Oh, there he is. What's up, buddy? We got Dub C. Jesse Michael's still sticking around. JW Speaker's still here. My dad actually made an appearance. What's up, Pops? Hope you're doing well tonight. We got to do some shooting soon. Oh, Coke Man Jr.? I was definitely not expecting someone from the guild to be in here. How's it going, buddy? If you don't know, I do a little gaming on the side, and he's one of my buddies I play World of Warcraft with. So I guess we'll talk about firearms for a little bit, since I've spoken about rations and how my diet restrictions have caused me to do a lot less ration reviews. Firearms videos have become more difficult as well. So for one thing, everyone knows that ammo is extremely hard to come upon right now, and when you do, it's very expensive, and that's across the board. It used to be in the past that your more obscure cartridges, your military surplus stuff, your 303s and other Japanese ammo, stuff like that, you could find it. It wasn't cheap, but it was out there, and when people would do a run on ammo, people would buy up all your 223 and 9mm and stuff like that. Well, nowadays the ammo has been so scarce for so long that all that is gone. Most online retailers don't have any stock at all, and if they do, it is extremely expensive. And so ammo acquisition has become prohibitive for me to actually do some of the shooting videos I would like to do. I've been sticking to this video format where it's a digital collection kind of thing. I'm procuring a firearm from some source, whether it be a gun show or a gun store or one of the online gun retailers, or buying it off Gunbroker or something like that, and I bring it in front of you, unbox it, show the condition, talk about where I got it from, talk about the gun itself, break down any things that make that particular example special, talk about the history of the firearm generally, things of that nature. I love doing those videos. It's an awesome resource for me to just archive with my collection. So at some point, I would like to have a video for every gun in my collection, and for me, being able to keep those with those firearms make the firearm itself so much more special, because you get the insight of the person who owns the rifle. I think at some point that would be really cool, especially down the line when hopefully those get passed down to later generations. I think that would be kind of a cool history of my collection in that way, have a video collection as well as the physical collection itself. Now, we don't know what's happening with firearms in general with these new legislation that's going through the House and will probably pass the Senate and will definitely get signed by the president. I don't know what that's going to do to collecting. So I'm a FFL 03 CNR license holder, which is a federal firearms license. And that is what allows me to order the firearms and have them shipped directly to my house without having to go through a FFL dealer. So technically I am an FFL dealer, and I think that would still exempt me from having to go to gun stores and do the background checks and that kind of stuff that this new legislation is going to make people do for firearms purchases. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything definite on that yet, and it's definitely going to make gun shows very difficult. Anyone that's selling something as an individual as opposed to a gun store itself is going to have to find someone that has a federal firearms license to help them transfer that firearm, fill out a 4473 form, and do the FBI background check and all that kind of stuff. And as of right now, if it's a person-to-person sale, you don't have to do that. And I know why these legislation is going through. It has a lot of support, but I'm a 100% Second Amendment supporter. Like, I'm a no compromise Second Amendment supporter. I don't even like the NFA. Like, I don't like any of that. But you have to live with it within the confines of the law, and I do believe in that. And I will do my best to abide by any new restrictions that are placed on firearms owning, and hopefully we'll be able to keep the channel going on the firearms side, at least for the foreseeable future. We will. I might run into a problem in, say, like a year or two when my own personal collection dwindles down to the point where I don't have things to make videos on anymore, because I don't know that I'll always be able to procure firearms at the rate that I have. I've been buying up pretty much everything that I would want in my future collection the past couple years. Like, if I see something, I pretty much buy it, and I've been expending a lot of capital doing that. And of course, that's all my own personal money. And it's an investment in a lot of ways. Military surplus firearms they always go up in value. They're not being made anymore. There's nothing to replace them. I mean, if anything, more of them are degrading due to mishandling or just rusting out over time, not being preserved and taken care of the way that I do my firearms. And I hope that, other collectors like myself are doing the same thing to preserve these firearms for future generations, but they're still going to be lost over time. And so due to dwindling supplies and them already being in the hands of collectors, no more surplus worldwide. There's hardly no more countries out there that have their old military surplus left to throw in the market. I mean, it's pretty much tapped out everywhere. We're very lucky to be getting in this stuff that we have been from Africa that Royal Tiger Imports has been importing. Now, I know that the quality of that surplus is not very good, but at least it's something. Without them, I mean, there's almost nothing interesting coming in as far as new surplus goes. And even if it is in bad condition, I mean, I would rather have a representative example of a firearm than not be able to get it or have to pay 5 times the amount that I'm having to pay with them. And if it means doing a little work on it or maybe a little bit of refurb or something like that on my end to get it up to firing standard or whatever, I'm fine doing that. I actually enjoy it, and that's some of my favorite videos to do on the channel. The restoration videos are awesome. They're very fun, but it's very time consuming, and I have not had the time to put into those videos recently. I have several projects that I have in the works. I'm doing a couple more infields. I still need to do the Hanyan 88 rifles. I have a Mauser or two that I need to do some stock repairs on. I have a couple Swiss rifles I need to do some repairs on. I have lots of rifles that need repairs, and I want to get as much of that on video as I can, but it needs to be a video that makes sense. I can't just throw something out there and it just be a bunch of garbage. I want my videos to be engaging and as entertaining as they could be. I know I'm not the best on-screen talent. I'm not the best talker, but I do truly enjoy making the videos, and that's really why I do this. I mean, it's not a job or anything. I work a full-time job separate from YouTube, of course. I mean, my view numbers are way too low to support it as some form of work. It is a time sink for sure, but I do truly enjoy it. I just got to work my way back into it since I've taken this long hiatus. And I'm at the point now where every 2 weeks when I'm getting ready to do a gun video, I'm doing it that week, and I don't like that. I like having my stuff done well in advance so I can have time to tweak things and get them the way that I want them to be before I actually release them. Plus, if for some reason I need to take a week off or 2 weeks off or something like that for something that's going on, I have the headroom to do that. And at the moment, I don't have that. That's one of the reasons we decided to do a live stream this week, is because this Wednesday was supposed to be a gun video, and I don't have any gun videos ready to go. I have a couple I can do, but I need to get out there and shoot them, and I haven't had time to do any shooting recently. And even though I do have ammo in stock, I have stored ammo myself, I don't really want to dig into it right now because I don't know what the future of ammo availability is. So that's why you don't see more shooting in my videos already. I would love to be one of these guys that go out here and just dumping rounds and, testing accuracy, doing long range shooting, all kinds of stuff like that. I love those things, but I just haven't been able to do it recently. Hopefully if the channel continues growing and things maybe ease up a little bit on the nationwide, ammo market, and things like that, we can integrate some more cool videos like that into the channel in the future. But for now, it is what it is. I'm just doing my best to put out that video every 2 weeks, and I'm going to keep collecting. I'm still in my acquisition phase. I've still been buying firearms. I ordered a gun today. I ordered a Tokarev, a Chinese Type 54 Tokarev from R Guns. If you have a CNR license, I'd recommend checking them out. They're like $350, and they are in fantastic condition from what I've seen. And I'm a Tokarev freak, and I don't have a Chinese one yet, so I went ahead and ordered one of those today. We'll be seeing a video on that in a few weeks, probably. As soon as I get around to doing it, and whenever I do an unboxing of a firearm, a lot of times it's weeks or even months before I actually put the video out, because I have to make sure that I, get the shooting footage if I can get the shooting footage. If I can't, I can put the video out a little bit faster, because the range is not at my house, so I have to set aside time to actually go out and do it and get the shots and all that kind of stuff. And it all just takes time. That's what the whole YouTube thing is all about. It's just how much time you can put into it if you're trying to have a quality product, which is something I've always strived to do. I don't want to put out junk videos. I put a lot of time and thought and research into my videos, and if you watch them, I'm sure that you have noticed that. Now, I get a lot of crap about the way my voice sounds and stuff like that. I mean, not everyone's going to like me, and that's fine. I don't want everyone to like me. I like a smaller, knit community the way it is right now. And if it grows over time, it grows over time. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I still have my backlog of both my Ration Experience collection and my Firearms unboxing collection that I can enjoy myself for years to come. All right, we have 19 watching live now. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. We're 37 minutes into this. I want it to be 45 minutes to an hour, so we'll keep going as long as it makes sense. Now is an awesome time for some Q&A. So I didn't take any questions ahead of time. We're just doing this thing live. So if anyone has any live questions for me, now would be a good time to ask them. Yeah, I do have a Power Ranger shirt on. I actually just got this. I went to Florida last weekend, and me and Cheese Toast and his wife hung out and had a good time together for a long weekend in Florida. We went to Panama City, and that's the most fun I've had in quite a while. And that really made me feel rejuvenated. And that's another reason I felt like I could get in front of the camera, because it kind of took me away from my regular life a little bit, and I was able to go out and have some fun. And I bought this shirt while I was down there. All right, so we have a question from Smitty. What is your next military surplus rifle, and why is it the Martini Henry? Well, I would love for it to be the Martini Henry, and if one popped up on a website that was accepted my CNR license and it was easy for me to just go through and check out on it, that would be my next rifle. But at the moment, the only way I've been able to find one is maybe get lucky at a gun show, which there's a gun show coming up next month, I think, that I'll probably be going to. And I doubt I'll run into a Martini Henry there, but if I do, that would be kind of cool. Or to buy it at auction, and auctions freak me out. For one, I don't like having to just like sit there and stare at it and make bids and all kinds of stuff. But also, there's a lot of hidden charges. Not really hidden. I mean, if you just like look into it, you can see how much the percentage over like the sale you have to pay and all that kind of stuff is. But there's a lot of like extra money that goes into an auction, and a gun that I would normally like try to haggle down, I'm actually getting haggled up on. It's kind of the opposite of the way that I do my gun buying when I'm doing it in person at a gun store or at a gun show. I always try to get the best price I can, and with an auction, I mean, you pay as much as you're willing to pay, but the prices go up really, really high. And so they're Martini Henrys, I do watch them, but they usually sell for more than I'm willing to pay for one. And also, I specifically would like to have a 303 Martini Henry so I can like shoot it a lot. The black powder ones are awesome and more interesting historically, I would say, because they actually saw more real combat. But I don't shoot black powder, and you have to hand load for those, and I'm not set up to do that. I know that Smitty, of course, wants me to do that, but I barely have the time to do what I'm doing now. I can't start hand loading. It's just too much. Let's see if there's any more questions. My Holy Grail gun. All right, so I kind of answered this a little bit in the last live stream I did, but as of right now, my Grail guns is the SVT 40. I would love to have an SVT 40. Of course, they are way too expensive at the moment. I was actually bidding on one of those on Gunbroker the other day, and it went up like double what I was willing to pay for it. So I'm not going to be getting one anytime soon, but I would love to have an SVT 40. I think they're a super cool rifle, probably one of the coolest rifles of World War II. And yeah, I like Russian guns, and it's in 7.62x54R, which I have a horde of ammo for, and I can really shoot the crap out of it. And that would be a really cool gun to have. And then for pistols, I want a P08 Luger. They're not that hard to get, but again, they're cost prohibitive. Even a non-matching shooter grade Luger is more money than I'm comfortable dumping into a single gun at the moment. Over the past several years, I've been trying to pick up those guns that are in the price point of the $200 to $300 price point. And those are kind of getting phased out at this point. I've picked up most of what's on the market. That's why I have so many freaking Carcanos. It's because they're in the perfect price point where I can buy a bunch of them. If I can get 5 guns for $1,000, I'd rather do that than get one gun for $1,000 when I'm a pattern collector. There's certain patterns I really want, but until I collect those other things that are cheaper at the moment, I'm putting those big purchases on the back burner. So buying things like Lugers and stuff like that will be something down the road when there's less options for other firearms that I don't have in my collection yet at the moment. Even though the prices on those are still always going up, so I'll probably pay more then than I would now. And I always keep an eye out. So, if I was walking to a gun show and someone has a, poor condition P08 Luger that is still in shooting condition but doesn't look the best and it's non-matching and they want like $700 for it, I'm walking out of that gun show with a P08 Luger and I'm going to go shoot it. JW Speaker asks, what is your favorite ration in your collection? So are we talking rations that I've eaten or rations that I'm keeping for collection purposes? I think one of the coolest rations I have in my collection is the food packet cold weather. There's not very many of those out there. It was a very limited time production item, and I have 2 in my collection now. I've eaten one on camera, so there is a video of me reviewing that one. Old Smokey's done some stuff on that one in the past as well. And that's a really cool ration just because it's pretty uncommon. I would love to have a K ration. Again, K rations are too expensive. And if I did get one, I would want to eat on it, but I wouldn't be able to because it would kind of ruin the value. So it's just easier for me not to have one because I would be too tempted to want to eat some 70 or 80-year-old crackers or whatever. That would be really cool. But yeah, I guess the food packet cold weather is the favorite of my collection. As far as eating rations goes, I'm very partial to Russian rations. They're probably my all-time favorite. I did have a French RCIR recently, and that was really, really good. So the French rations are good too, as far as eating goes. Yeah, I know reloading is easy to learn. I know quite a bit about reloading. I have friends that reload, and it's something I've paid attention to for a long time. It's just actually getting into it and buying the equipment and setting up a space to do it in, and then having the time to actually go through and load. Those are things I just don't have right now. Maybe one day. That's going to be sort of like a retirement thing. So if I'm still into guns when I'm an old dude and I have time to sit there and put into reloading, I'll do it. Or if I get a gun that I really want to shoot and there's no way to shoot it without reloading, then I might be forced into at least buying the equipment to reload a few cartridges just so I can shoot it. But just not right now. Looks like Mr. Tracy Phillips had to leave. Thanks for sticking around as long as you did, Tracy. I really appreciate that, buddy. M6. I'm not sure what that is. It's a bolt-action rifle with 2 triggers. One normal trigger connected to the grip, so I guess that's going to be like within the trigger guard. And then another trigger at the end of the handguard. I've never heard of that before. Now, I've heard of double trigger rifles. It's fairly common with high-end sporting rifles, especially like European sporting rifles. They'll have 2 triggers. One that is basically like a first stage trigger that's really easy to pull back. You pull that first trigger, and then that gets the actual real trigger ready to be pressed. The real trigger on the rifle will be like a hair trigger, just you barely touch it and it'll go off, and that really helps with accuracy. So you have one longer pull trigger that stages it, and then one trigger that will allow the weapon to discharge. But I've never seen one where the triggers were in 2 different locations. Usually they're like right on top of each other. So I don't know what that is. If you want to send me a picture of it in email to readinessreviews@gmail.com, or you can send it to me on the Readiness Reviews Facebook page, which is probably the easiest way to contact me. Those come straight to my phone. The email goes to my PC, which I check periodically every day or so, but I see Facebook stuff right away. I would be happy to look into it and see if I can figure out what it is. I'm not very knowledgeable on sporting firearms. That's not my area of expertise. Of course, I'm not an expert at all anyway, but yeah, I've never heard of that, and that's very interesting sounding. Looks like Smitty is talking about some more reloading stuff. Yeah, if you really want to dial in the accuracy of a rifle, that's the only way to do it. I mean, you have to hand load. Factory ammo is not that good. And if you really dial it in, put the perfect amount of powder and just the right kind of bullet, and it's seated just the right way, I mean, that's how you get true accuracy out of a rifle for really long range distances. But I'm not shooting more than, a couple hundred yards at the longest anyway, so I'm really not too worried about it. And, it's expense and time again. I mean, that's what it all comes down to with reloading for me. We're getting a little bit more time to burn before you reach the top of the hour. And I want to give you guys as much content as possible. So until we get a couple more questions in the chat, I actually have the paper from my very first live stream where people asked me a bunch of questions and I couldn't get to all of them. So I guess we'll skim through this right quick and see if there's any old questions that I can answer for you. Hobo Factories asked me if I have any experience with Parker Hale aftermarket number 4 infield mags. No, unfortunately, I do not. I've only used original number 4 magazines. I know that people like other Parker Hale stuff though, so probably okay, right? I don't know. Mark Swisher Eats and Stuff asked me a while back about my heritage. So he says that he is Japanese and German, and he wants to know if I too am a blend. Well, first off, Japanese and German is a very interesting combo. I don't know if I've ever met anyone that's both Japanese and German, but that's really cool. Both really cool cultures, and did a lot during World War II, we'll say that at least. I like both their firearms, and I like both of their food, so that's interesting. Yeah, so I got both my father and one of my aunts on my mother's side of the family to do an ancestry test, and since my aunt has the same genetics as my mother, I figured that's pretty accurate, and of course my dad did one, and I averaged the two together. I've never done my own ancestry test, but I've given them to other people in my family to do so, and so if I average those two tests, I come up to 79% British. Okay, so I'm almost 80% British, which totally makes sense. I know that both sides of my family are British, and so that makes complete sense. I am 19% Scottish and or Irish. Now, those are very different, but I guess genetically they're really close. I don't know why those came in as like the same category. and I would like to know which it is, Irish or Scottish, but I guess either way it's pretty cool. But almost 20% Irish and Scottish. So between British and Irish and Scottish, that makes up almost 100%. I'm less than 1% Scandinavian, and then I'm also less than 1% German and Spanish. I'm like 0.5% on both of those, and I'm 1% Scandinavian, actually. And I think as far as that Scandinavian goes, I believe that was Norwegian. Very little. So I am complete white Brit, that is for sure. Again, if I miss your question in the chat, just keep asking until I see it. As I'm talking, I'm not watching the chat, so they kind of scroll by. Yeah, I'm about as British as a Martini Henry. I mean, maybe that's why I like Enfield so much. I don't know. Yeah, I do love the British guns, and yeah, I guess I'm just really British. I don't know. The bad thing is I can't actually remember which one of these questions I answered on that other video and which ones I did not. So I have a whole list of questions here, but I don't know which ones I should answer. Smitty wants to know, do I hunt or just shoot milsurps? So, I like hunting. I love game meat. Like, when people give me wild game, I freaking love that. I would rather eat game meat than things at the grocery store any day. But of course, you know, I'm sort of a adventurous eater anyway. I like trying as many new things as possible, and that's really kind of how I fell into ration reviewing in the first place. It was just this swath of things that I could try that were different. I haven't really been hunting myself in a while. I went fishing over the weekend. This is kind of like hunting, but not really. I have hunting rifles. I enjoy hunting. When I have gone, I've taken a deer before. But it's not really something that I've allocated time to recently, but I would definitely like to. Maybe next year I might get back into hunting. I was actually throwing around this idea of doing like my own little hunting show where I take military surplus rifles out and hunt with them. But if I was ever going to do something like that, it would be something I would do on a different channel probably. I probably wouldn't put it on the Readiness Reviews channel. It would be its own thing. And I would want it to have a production quality that I really can't do at the moment. So that'd be something for like way in the future. But I think that would be really fun. I mean, I think it would be cool to, you know, take a deer with a Martini Henry, for instance. That'd be really cool. Six is asking me if I've ever seen Enemy at the Gates. Yes, I have seen Enemy at the Gates. I freaking love Enemy at the Gates. That is a great movie. It is, of course, an American movie that's made about Russian things. I've spoke to a Russian dude about it before, and you know, he's like, "Well, it's not a Russian movie." I was like, "Yeah, but it's still a good movie. Like, I love the Mosin Nagant. Love K-98s. Love Ed Harris. Jude Law's pretty cool, I guess." But Enemy at the Gates is about the siege of Stalingrad, and yeah, that is a heck of a movie. Love that movie. Coatman wants to know if I have any interest in reviewing body armor. Heck yeah, I got interest in reviewing body armor. Back a year or so ago, I was like going on all these weird Chinese websites like, you know, Wish.com and AliExpress and stuff like that, and I was thinking about buying some super cheap Chinese body armor and just shooting the crap out of it and seeing how good it is. But there's several other YouTube channels that's done that already, and I don't really know that that's my, you know, space of interest. But as a personal interest would go, yeah, I would love to do some body armor testing, but body armor is expensive. I mean, once you shoot it, it's pretty useless, right? But heck yeah, I would love to shoot some body armor. That'd be freaking fun, like real fun. My most recent military surplus purchase was actually today. I talked about that earlier in the video. I ordered a Tokarev from R Guns this morning. Besides that, I went to a gun show last month and I bought a Type 38 Arasaka and I bought a Israeli K98 from Belgium. It was an FN Israeli K98 in 7.62 NATO, and it is a beautiful gun. We'll do a video on that one in the future. We reached the 20 viewer mark. Not quite as good as my first live stream, but that was to be expected. My view numbers have been down recently. I was doing gangbuster view numbers like back in like December. The most the channel's ever seen. I mean, that video I did last year about the the best 5 military surplus rifles of 2020. I mean, that video has blown up in a way that I never thought any of my videos would. I think it has over 45,000 views at this point, and more than 1,000 likes. Like, I don't know, people really liked that video. YouTube pushed it in the algorithm for some reason. But whatever push my videos were getting in the YouTube algorithm from that, it pretty much died out at this point, and I'm back down to view numbers sort of around the way they were before I was even monetized even. And that probably has something to do with me having lower community engagement over the past 6 months or so. And but I think the quality of my videos have still been fairly decent. I haven't been uploading as frequently. That probably has something to do with it. But I don't really care about the view numbers anyway. As long as I'm putting out quality videos and the people that are watching them are enjoying them, that's all that matters to me. All right, well, we're right here at 8 o'clock. I want to thank everyone for sticking it out with this video. The live format is not something that comes naturally to me. Like, I would never be an on-screen, like, talking head pundit. I'm not the most fluent speaker in general. I rely a lot on editing with my videos, and I'm sure you see that with all the cuts that I have. But I do like to come to you straight up like I have today. I mean, I kind of opened up a little bit of my personal information in this video. If you missed it, it was in the earlier part of the video. Kind of know what's been going on with me personally. And I like being as real with the audience as possible. I don't fake anything. Like when I eat the old rations, I'm really eating those old rations. When I'm shooting the guns, of course, I'm really shooting the guns. So I just try to be as real as possible and as genuine as possible. And yeah, just try to produce the best content I can. And, anybody that takes the time out of their day to watch my videos, like, I'm blown away by that anyone even wants to hear me talk about anything. But I truly appreciate it. And thanks so much for stopping in. And hopefully we'll do another live stream before too long. I'm coming up on my 2-year YouTube anniversary in May. I believe that's May 8th. So maybe we'll try to schedule another live stream around that time, about a month or two from now, something like that. And I'm also closing in on 3,000 subscribers. I didn't do anything for 2,500, so I think I'll do a giveaway for 3,000. So be looking for that in the future. And hopefully I'll give away something pretty good. If I ever do a giveaway, it's not going to be junk. It'll be pretty decent whatever I give away. Thanks again for joining me, everyone. And I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace. And now is that awkward moment where I have to get up and turn the stream off. So see you guys.